On the dispute adjudication board on the Multan-Sakhar section of the Pakistan motorway is one in which I am involved, and I am the chairman of the dispute adjudication board. And there are many other dispute boards in Pakistan on the CPEC projects, the NHA projects, plus there are dispute boards on WAPDA projects and the civil aviation projects. And your question is, how many boards are functioning?
Do you know whether there have been a lot of experience with dispute boards in Pakistan?
Yes. Well, since I'm talking to a lot of lawyers, pardon me if I use a bit of engineering. If there's a disagreement, I'll call it a disagreement because it is not yet a dispute, between the employer and the contractor, then the employer's representative or the engineer gives a decision. Now, in normal contracts, this decision goes into arbitration if they do not agree on a solution. In the case of DAB, it goes to DAB. And it is the first level of adjudication. And the beauty about DAB is that some of the disputes, some of the disagreements are settled on the site while the construction is going on before they actually become disputes. The motorway projects, there are 2 motorway projects, and these are and the coal-fired plant at Day1, these are the major projects. But if I could just brief you a little bit about the procedures, if you allow me.
Yes, please. Yeah. Please, go ahead. Thank you.
Well, the DAB on the Multan-Sakhar consists of 3 members. 1 member nominated by the contractor, 1 by the employer, and then the 2 of them select a 3rd member who acts as a chairperson, happens to be me. And then when there's a dispute is raised, then a claim comes in from the claimant, and then the respondent replies in a certain time, the time frames, and then there's a rebuttal, and then there are hearings. And in 84 days, the DAB is supposed to give a decision. Now the decision, whereas the FIDIC says it should be binding, yes, it should be binding, but within 28 days of the DAB's decision, the party which loses then usually goes into arbitration. And in arbitration, sorry to say, but that can take a long time. And then the result of the arbitration or the decision of the arbitration goes into courts. So then the DAB is a great process, but then the DAB finishes when the case goes into arbitration. But it's a law of the land that it has to go into courts and then become a rule of law. But basically the beauty about DAB is that we try to settle cases before they become disputes. And it's a cheap way of solving disputes rather than going into arbitration. Usually, engineers are the members of the dispute adjudication board, and a question may arise that why engineers? I would say engineers are the best suited because the disputes are engineering related. They relate to interpretation of contract, bill of quantities, engineering parameters such as compaction, location of underpasses, right of way, and these disputes are coming up as the construction is going on. So they have to be solved on site or during the currency of the project. And that is because we don't want these disputes to go into lengthy arbitrations later on. And therefore engineers, eminent engineers with experience are called upon and selected by word of mouth and appointed as DAB members.